Second half of your game after this.
$23-0, the Giants in front of the Tennessee Titans. And Nissan, our performance that excites. How do you not get excited? I don't care if you're a Giant fan or you root for him to lose every game. You gotta like watching this young man play football, don't you?
You most certainly have to. Odell Beckham Jr. has shown why he's a first-round draft pick and has shown why he's deserved the attention that he's been getting. But like we said, he had the same type of impact. He didn't have over 100 yards, but he had the same type of impact he's had in this game that he did last. But we've got to see the production in the second half. You've got to target him. You've got to keep moving him around like you have in different positions to keep this Titans defense off balance, because it's opened up everything in this offense.
On the flip side, if you're the Titans, and obviously the first half was not a good one. You look inside some of the numbers, only a total of 62 yards. You have the turnover, which led to the fumble recovery and run in for a touchdown by Marcus Kuhn. What are you saying at halftime right now if you're Ken Whisenhunt?
Let's come out this second half and let's just play sound football. Let's block. Let's make tackles, sure tackles in open field. Let's just get in a rhythm and let's play our game. That's what you want to say to him. You can't have the penalties. You can't have all the stuff that is just completely knocking your team back. You're not gaining the yards that you need to have. And the other thing that you want to say to them is, this second half, when you're down like this, you're going to run some no huddle. You're going to do some different things up tempo-wise to try changing the flow of the football game. And that's something that actually Zach Mettenberg has done a very nice job of, is running the no huddle in and out of the line of scrimmage, because when you're a rookie player like he is, it allows you to react and not overanalyze and overthink things.
Well, we talked about Odell Beckham Jr. What a first half outside of a silly unsportsmanlike penalty. I mean, they gave him a chance to throw the football. We know he can catch a football. 9 of them for 117 yards and a touchdown. He's even able to induce a smile out of Eli Manning. You don't see a lot of those, at least not while he's wearing a Giant uniform.
Well, you've seen a lot of smiles out of Eli Manning. It's just during tough times like this, you know, it's hard to celebrate and get those things when you've lost 7 straight games.
Tennessee will get the football to begin the second half. Antonio Andrews brings it back out to the 20-yard line. And of course, we check in at halftime, as always, with Laura Oakman.
Hi, Tom. I talked to Coach Tom Coughlin, who, no surprise here to anybody, didn't talk about the first half. What he told his guys was finish. Exactly what you guys talked about earlier. I know you're not surprised. He said,
no.
I want more effort. I want more energy. I want more turnovers. We weren't hungry enough last week. I want to see that hunger. They've also done a lot of visualization this week, visualizing through plays. I said, did you talk about that at halftime? And he said, I told them visualize the locker room after we win.
How about that? You got to go all the way back to the beginning of October since the Giants last won a football game. On first down, it is Sankey up to the 28-yard line. And David, I would imagine when you have a losing streak that long, Titans have lost 6 in a row, Giants have lost 7 in a row. It must feel like months have gone by. I mean, more than just 2 months.
It feels longer than that when you're in a drought like that, because you come to work every day, you punch the clock, but you do not reap the rewards and the benefits if at the end of the day you come up with a loss.
Sankey bouncing off a tackle and wrapped up by Jameel McClain. Short of a first down to bring up third down for the Titans on this opening possession of the second half.
Very nice play by JPP right there at the point of attack, stacking the left guard Andy Lavitri on that stretch play and forcing everything back inside. Nice play.
Right tackle, who came in as a starter even though he was a backup to Michael Moore. Byron Stingley hurt in the first half. He's not out there to begin the second half. It's Taron Jones. Is that a catch in bounds? No, it is not. 3 and out to begin this second half for Mettenberger and the Tennessee Titans.
That is definitely not the start that Ken Wisenhunt talked in halftime at. They've got to get in sync. They've got to get in rhythm and in some flow of the football game, because if they do not, this defense is going to be out on the football field for the Titans way too long, which they have this season for over 33 minutes a game. And it's just going to completely break down everything to where this Giants offense, they're going to be able to run whatever they want.
Back up from the 21-yard line, across the 25, loses his footing right at the 26. And there's a penalty flag right along the far sideline. Walt Anderson, our referee today.
During the return, personal foul, face mask, number 28, the kicking team. It's a 15-yard penalty. Will be enforced from the end of the run. First down, New York. Timeout.
That is Marquestin Huff for the infraction. Eli and the Giants, their first possession of the second half when we come back. Welcome back to Nashville, Tennessee.
118, what's that?
Eli Manning turns, hands it off to Williams on first down. That'll be a gain. Well, he slipped all his way up to the 45-yard line. That'll be a gain of 4. We talked about the last couple of weeks in the third quarter. Those are not good numbers.
It hasn't only been the last 2 weeks. Like I said, the third quarter, this team has been outscored by 77 points. I mean, that's right alone is a way to lose 7 straight football games.
118, what's that?
Inoski leading the way. And just barreling forward, trying to get to the first down, is Williams. And it looks like he is just inches short.
It's a nice job by the offensive linemen, continuing to push the pile, moving their feet, getting those extra yards. That's what you need to do in this type of game, because not only is it extending the runs, but you're controlling the time of possession in the line of scrimmage.
First time all year long on third down and 1 inside the 5. The Titans have stopped a 3rd and 1. They try to do it again. Pop by Williams and into the open field. And Andre Williams will race to the end zone. A touchdown, 49 yards. And he nearly lost the football when he took the pitch from Eli Manning.
Very nice play design. You're going to see the kick down by Henry Hynoski, the kick out by Adrian Robinson at the point of attack that creates that big open seam to get Williams out in open space and show what Andre Williams is capable of. Hey, he may have not caught a ball in Boston College, but he knows how to run a football and he knows how to score touchdowns.
Well, his quote during the Giants training camp this year in the preseason was, he said, "God built me to run the football." And that officially is the longest run by a Giant this season. They say it is 50 yards to pay dirt.
It's getting hot up in here.
Been a while since the Giants have had a running back carry one for longer than 50 yards into the end zone. Got to go back to the 2012 year against New Orleans. But it just happened on their last play from the rookie out of Boston College, Andre Williams.
We were talking about the third quarter, Tom. Well, they've responded with the touchdown. It's exactly what they said they needed to do, and they've done it. It's not at this point about what you say, it's what you put on the football field.
If you're wondering who the last Giant to do it, David Wilson out of Virginia Tech, who of course had to call it quits after he suffered a neck injury last year, came back in the preseason, felt a stinger, and certainly we wish that young man all the very, very best, trying to make it as an Olympian sprinter.
I will tell you that. He has got a second gear, and that's for sure. And I remember that play, did a backflip after scoring that touchdown, and you were hoping that that was the future you would see out of David Wilson.
Well, Mettenberger was injured last week. He clearly injured his shoulder again, the right throwing shoulder, on that hit by Jason Pierre-Paul. And even throwing the football, getting ready for this second half. Right after throwing, he went over to sort of stretch it out a little bit and is in some discomfort.
Shown his toughness, and I've got to say I was very impressed talking to this young rookie player on Friday at practice. Just his understanding of the NFL and what it takes to be successful in this league. Because let's face it, like we stated in the open, this is a job audition for everybody out on the football field.
Well, his first throw is a good one. To Derek Hagan up to the 47-yard line.
Was able to plant his feet, get his eyes downfield. Started with the offensive line with the protection. Gave him time, was able to sort through, diagnose everything, and come up with a nice throw to Derek Hagan.
26 yards. That is the longest completion today for Vettenberger and the Titans. Right back on the ground is Sankey and wrapped up by Jason Pierre-Paul. That'll be a gain of 2. We're going to talk more about Tom Coughlin later, but David, I know you're not the general manager of the New York Giants. I know you're not the owner of the Giants. But you've been around the game a long, long time. And when you have to start evaluating your own, and it is frequently said, one of the smartest people I've ever met in professional sports is in baseball, a guy named John Schertz, legendary general manager of the Atlanta Braves, now their president. And I always thought he said something so interesting when you're talking about players, whether you're going to bring them back to your team. He said, one thing is for sure, you better know your players better than you know other teams' players. In other words, getting wrapped up in that free agent out there with another team, you better make good decisions on the guys you have and the guys you're going to keep and the guys you're going to let go. Jason Pierre-Paul and Antrell Roll, those are 2 very important decisions for the Giants.
They most certainly are. JPP has not had the statistical numbers that he is normally accustomed to and what people expect out of him. Antrell Roll, you know what you're getting out of Antrell Roll every single day at practice, every single Sunday. He has it at 100 degrees, and he is flying around, and he is one of the true leaders of the New York Giants.
Well, he was right there in the middle of that incompleted third down pass by Mettenberger, so it's punt time again. When there's been a whole lot of that by this Tennessee team today. First 2 possessions, 2 others in the first half. They did get a first down on that one, but only one single first down and a completion to Hagan. Fair catch by Reuben Randall. Long way to go, and the Giants are rolling. Giants with the football. And a first down and 10. Starting this drive from their own 17-yard line. Giants already with 317 yards of offense. And they'll add to it as they drop it off to Williams. Well, football today and basketball coming up this week. On Wednesday night, 2 of college basketball's most storied programs. 11th ranked Kansas battles Georgetown. Our coverage begins Wednesday, 7 Eastern on Fox Sports 1, streaming live on Fox Sports Go. You ready for college hoops yet, David Deal?
I love college hoops. There's nothing better but some good rivalries. And I'm hoping my Illini have a great season.
Well, you got a good football, you got a good basketball coach here for the Fighting Illini.
Big fan of Coach Grosh, and it's great. I'll actually be watching him on Tuesday night at the Garden.
Nice. Let's check in with Joel Klatt back in Los Angeles.
All right, Tom, big one there in Cincinnati. Pittsburgh coming back here. Roethlisberger finds some time, checks it down to Le'Veon Bell. He goes in for the 10-yard score, 13 in his last 3 games. 17-14 Steelers. Tom and David.
Saw the Steelers lose a stunner last week. They were humiliated by the New Orleans Saints, and if anybody can figure out any team in that NFC South, you might want to let them know about it. Because Drew Brees and the Saints, 5 touchdown passes last week, and they're getting drilled. That one is intercepted. And running it back into the end zone for a touchdown is Marquestin Huff.
This is a football that Eli Manning knows that he should not throw this. You're scrambling. I know you're keeping your eyes downfield. You could run that football, tuck that ball away and go with it. You're trying to throw it across your body to Larry Donnell, and then just put that one away. Very poor decision by Eli on that one.
13 interceptions now thrown by Manning this season. We mentioned 5 of those came in one game against the Giants. 9 of them have come in 3 games. Came against 49ers. 9 of them coming in 3 games this year. And even though this is a 30-7 game, that is 29 games in a row the Giants have turned the ball over. And this one, a pick 6. Marqueston Huff, the rookie out of Wyoming. He spent his first 3 years in college as a cornerback, converted to a safety his senior year. And he brings one back for the first time in 26 games. An interception returned for a touchdown by a Titan. Eli still shaking his head.
Rightfully so. He knows that that was a very poor decision on that one, and he may be up at that point 30-0, but you cannot be careless with the football like that.
Weston Parker takes a big hit up to the 17-yard line. Well, coming up this Saturday, we're excited. We'll be in Florida to bring you the final round of the Franklin Templeton Shootout. Some of the best golfers in the world compete with over $3 million on the line. Joe Buck, Greg Norman, and company. Saturday, 1 Eastern, only on Fox, streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Where's Fox now home of the U.S. Open?
That's it. Come on, Jay. 118, right there.
Hand it to Williams. He broke one for 50 his last carry, and it's one again on 13. Let's check in downstairs with Laura.
I wanted to finish something that we talked about halftime when I brought up visualization this week. It's something the Giants did a lot of. The coaches said the situation. Here's the call we're going to make. Visualize the call. Visualize doing it. Visualize it. Visualize succeeding it. They had film sessions, jog-throughs, talking about finishing, visualizing it. They even kicked a field goal in practice, a game-winning field goal, Tom, and they had the team celebrate it. So it wasn't just seeing it, it was feeling and experiencing it.
Very interesting. First down carry again by Williams, wrapped up by Al Woods, former Pittsburgh Steeler.
And I know people at home, when Laura just came with that report, people at home may be thinking, oh, well, you know, that's not a big deal. It is. Think about it. You've gone 7 weeks without having the joy of a victory, having that feeling of what you're putting all the work in day day out, and spending the time away from your family to do this job to the best of your ability.
Been a busy day for Andre Williams, and he's starting to put together a good day. He's up over 100 yards on the afternoon. First 100-yard rushing game of his young career. Titans have allowed now 7 running backs to eclipse 100 yards in a game this year. Pretty nifty catch right there, made by Adrian Robinson. They have him 3rd on the depth chart at tight end with his 3rd year out of Cincinnati.
It's a really nice catch by Adrian Robinson there. They're going to show him on the back side of that. He's going to fake that he's cutting it off. He does a little olay and spins around to get back to the outside. Very nice catch. It's just unfortunate that knee went down and they weren't able to convert.
So out comes the punt team for the Giants. Steve Weatherford on what would be a 4th down and 1. And the question is, are they going to bring out the chains to make sure? The chains are on the near side of the field. First half they were on the far side of the field. That's how much they're short. Walt Anderson reminding those that run the play clock here to go ahead and start that along with a game clock. So we are now under 6 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Weatherford will put the right foot on it.
Speaking of Walt Anderson, I always had great conversations with him while I was a player. Like, hey, Walt, we're both number 66. You know, you can't throw a penalty against me. He's like, well, then don't make me throw it.
Did he?
Oh, yeah.
Well, take a look at this. While we were away after that punt a moment ago by Steve Weatherford with the special teams coach, Tom Quinn. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like this in a long time.
Well, this is a game of emotion, and we see the Steve Weatherford and Tom Quinn getting after it. You know, the thing that Coach Quinn was stressing about is field position. That was a touchback. They wanted to keep that one in and try to pin back this Titans offense.
McCluster never looked up to see if the ball was on its way, and it flies right by him. It continued on to the back of the bench and trying to calm down a little bit of Steve Weatherford, or calm down Tom Quinn.
Gotta love this game.
Sidearm delivery there, and McCluster is dragged down behind the line of scrimmage. It'll bring up third down and long, and it has been a long day with still a long way to go for Mettenberger and the Tennessee Titans.
He just got hit again, and he was slow to get up. They've got to make sure that they protect him. You can see that they're trying to get the ball out of his hands quick, running a little bubble screen there, you know, running the quick slants to these receivers. Because they've got to do something to change this up.
Only 1 out of 8 on third down. All of the Titans in the game, they have a total of 98 yards of offense. Better protection this time. That is a fastball delivery there. And Chase Kaufman, the backup tight end, unable to hang on to it. That looked like a good throw from up here. Let's take another look.
Sure did. It looked like a good throw. He put that low and down where only he could catch the football because he had dominant Rogers Cromartie coming from that outside. Like we stated, when your number's called in a game like this and you're trying to prove yourself, you've got to catch that football.
Beckham will tiptoe out of bounds at the 37-yard line. NFL athletes grew up playing in communities all across America. Now through NFL Play 60, they're encouraging kids in neighborhoods everywhere to come out and play for 60 minutes a day. To learn how NFL stars played as kids, find great play ideas. Visit NFLrush.com/play60. What were you playing, David Deal?
Those were some of the most fun events and activities and different programs throughout the NFL that I've still continued to be a part of. To do some of those things with my daughter Addison and to get her out there with her friends playing ball and with a bunch of my former teammates, it was just an unbelievable experience.
Eli comes out throwing. That's Beckham, and he's up to the 42-yard line. Beckham, his 10th catch of the day. He had 9 in the first half for 117 yards. That is his first reception of this second stanza.
They still continue to give him that cushion where he is getting a free release at the line of scrimmage, and he's just being able to do whatever he wants to do because they're not doing anything to change the timing or try to redirect him. He's still getting he's getting more attention. They're trying to bracket to him, but you've got to do something to disrupt him.
Rhinoceros leading the way. One of the great nicknames in the history of football.
Great nickname. I'm not so sure about his touchdown celebration dance.
I loved it. I was there that night.
But you got to love the Rhinoceros.
Let's check in with Kurt Menefee.
Hey, who would have thought that the quarterback who struggled the most today in Cleveland might be Andrew Luck? He throws a pick 6 to the rookie Justin Gilbert. Luck also fumbled in the end zone for a Cleveland touchdown. 2 defensive scores have the Browns up 21-10 in the third. Tom and David.
Well, head coach Mike Pettin deciding to stay with Brian Hoyer as the Browns quarterback, figuring they've gone 7-5 with him there. They took too much time on first down, or was there a timeout called timeout Giants?
Timeout, New York. 30-second timeout.
David, I want to ask you about that decision by Mike Pettin, because you and I are going to have the privilege of calling the Bengals v. Browns next weekend. That could be a huge game in that AFC North. Were you surprised they stayed with Brian Hoyer this week?
I was very surprised about that, just for the sheer fact that when Johnny Manziel came into the game last week, it brought life into that Cleveland Browns team. And he just has that knack. But the minute that they saw him coming off, you saw the entire team get off the bench and to the sidelines to watch to see what he was going to do. I think that it was a move on his part that Brian Hoyer may have earned the right to give one more shot. But for me personally, I think that they should have went with Johnny Manziel, because you're looking to win. You're looking to do something to create a spark for yourself in the month of December, and that would have been the way to do it.
Beckham, a yard short of a first down. I'll tell you one thing right now. If Cleveland finds a way to win that game today over Indianapolis, as we take a look at the total yards here today, look at that. Beckham Jr. and Andre Williams, 256. The Titans are under 100. Second down and a yard. Williams continues to pile up yards down to the 37. But, you know, David, it has been a long time since the Cleveland Browns have been in a position to play a big game in December. We'll get to that in a minute.
You know, nice pull by Weston Richburg to lead it open there. You know, this is a young rookie that they are very impressed with for his ability to come in, show the type of technique as a young player. Nicely blocked by him right there for Andre Williams. I think he's going to be a very good player for years to come.
Here comes Cross.
He is a busy man today. Modeled up that time by big Sammy Hill right at the line of scrimmage. I want to finish that thought about Cleveland. If they were to win that game today, they go to 8-5. Well, can you imagine what we're going to be walking into in the Dog Pound next Sunday? They have not played a meaningful game in December in years in Cleveland, Ohio.
I mean, talk about a fan base that loves their football team, and what a way to be doing it if they come away with the win against their in-state rival, the Cincinnati Bengals.
Well, they dominated the Bengals in the Queen City earlier this year, one of only 3 Bengals losses. Beckham Jr. went out of bounds. Speaking of the Bengals, they just scored to go ahead of the Steelers. Tight game there in Cincinnati, 21-17. Ravens, all those teams have won at least 7 games. Every team in one division. Blitz coming on 3rd down and 7. Eli rolls. And they've hit that play a couple of times, but not this time. Was that ball intercepted? No.
I think the interesting out of that play is you saw Odell Beckham Jr. on the motion talk to Eli, and Eli changed the play to when he got to the other side to give it to him.
Well, that's a great play by Brandon Harris.
Very nice play. Look at that. Gets his hand in there, arm strength to rip it out. Come up with a big play and a big stop there on 3rd down.
Well, Josh Brown has more than enough leg for this kind of distance. 52 yards. And he has enough leg for this one. Wow. 32nd career field goal from 50 or more by Josh Brown. That is the 6th most all time. Brown was a nice pickup for the Giants.
Very nice pickup and just a great teammate, just an all-around good guy. Comes to work every day, and I'm not going to stress that too much. These specialist guys like to have their fun, and they have their free time during practice. But just an overall, just great teammate and a great guy to have in the locker room.
Do players, and I call them regular players, position players, I'm not taking anything away from the Cowboys.
No,
I'm not one of those guys to do that. But do they get to know the guys on the team as well as maybe other players do?
They do, because all three of the guys, whether you're talking about Steve Weatherford, Braun or Zach Diassi, all great guys in the locker room, just all around good people. And yeah, they have that stigma that, well, they're kickers, they're specialists, but they're involved in everything, and they've all been great teammates throughout the years, and not to mention they've been great for the Giants.
I don't believe that. Antonio Andrews up to the 25-yard line. Week 14 continues later on CBS, and for some of you right here on Fox, and tonight Sunday Night Football. Tomorrow, Monday Night Football. Every game. A big game for both of those teams. One trying to get into the playoffs. The other one trying to nail down home field advantage throughout the playoffs. And I don't know how many teams want to go to Green Bay, Wisconsin in January. Murder on first down under heavy pressure and is sacked for the fourth time today. And that's Demontre Moore.
Very nice coverage right there by the New York Giants. Completely locked down the receivers on that one. The constant pursuit by this defensive line were able to come up with that sack.
He talks a lot about Moore is going to get more playing time since they made him a third-round pick a year ago. Off to the fourth quarter. Fox NFL Sunday continues after a break from your local station. First half totally dominated by the Giants. 33-7 as we begin the fourth quarter. It is a second down and 15 after the sack of Mettenberger a moment ago by Demontre Moore. Mettenberger drills it in there short of a first down, but up to the 28-yard line to Delaney Walker. Third down and 6. Dangerous throw. And it is picked up by Rodgers Cromartie, who will high step into the end zone. A touchdown for the Giants. And there is a penalty flag back in the line of scrimmage. And there's another penalty flag as a couple of veterans, Antrell Roll and Rodgers Cromartie, decide they're going to start taking fake pictures of one another after the touchdown. Boy, oh boy. Does it ever end? There are two penalty flags down. One of them we know for sure is a celebration in the end zone.
Here's the other one. Ugh. Just no point for that. Completely undisciplined. Ball's away from you. Get your hits on the quarterback during the play. Not like that.
There are two fouls, both on the defensive team. After the score, unsportsmanlike conduct number 26 of the defense, that penalty is declined. During the return, personal foul, unnecessary roughness number 98 of the intercepting team, that penalty will be enforced 15 yards from the spot of the foul, will be first down.
See Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie the entire time he has got his eyes right on Zach Mettenberger, and he makes that break for that ball because he diagnosed it throughout the entire time, come up with a huge pick for a touchdown. It's called back. That right there, that penalty, that's just bad.
There is no touchdown. The foul, the personal foul occurred during the return after the interception. It'll be New York's ball following the 15-yard penalty.
I asked you, David Deal, before this game began about when your team has only 2 wins, as is the case for the Titans. Your team has 3 wins. You've lost 7 in a row if you're the New York Giants. About what it is that motivates you and what are you playing for? Well, you brought up family. For some guys, money. But for almost all of them, they're still playing for a drive, whether it be this year or moving forward. Hajnowski for a game of 9. Demontre Moore is going to get a lot of playing time over the final 4 weeks of that season, and that's primarily due to all the injuries the Giants have had on their defensive front. Another penalty flag comes down. And I would imagine you were around Tom Coughlin every day for longer than a decade. He will be none too happy about that play by Demontre Moore.
He preaches about penalties, disciplined, smart football every single day. And you said it about Demontre Moore. I know a lot of people saying he should be playing more, he should be doing more things. But penalties like that and the mental errors he's had this season, Coach Coughlin will not put up with that stuff.
You know, those are the things that when you start to talk about, okay, should a coach come back? Has his time passed? That is being written about morning, noon, and night, talked about morning, noon, and night by Giant fans. And that's part of the job. Tom Coughlin understands that. I mean, it goes with the territory anywhere, but especially in New York. But when you make decisions about what coach you're going to keep or not keep as Manning rolls and destroys your way, there are players' futures that are directly affected by what you do with a coach because of what we just saw a moment ago as an illustration by Demontre Moore. Well, flag was thrown about 10 yards beyond the line of scrimmage into the secondary.
Ineligible player number 70 downfield prior to the pass. A penalty is declined. It's 3rd down.
Struck in quickly back in L.A. with Kurt Menefee.
All right, the Colts drawing back against Cleveland. Andrew Luck hooks up with Eugene Hilton Jr., better known as T.Y. Maybe moves like that mean thank you. They missed the 2-point conversion, 21-16 right now, late in the 3rd. Tom and David.
All right, Kurt, thank you very much. Third down, they drop off the screen to Rashad Jennings. 1st down and then some. All the way down to the 20-yard line on a screen to Jennings. John Jerry and Will Beatty leading the way.
J.D. Walton get out in front there. Very nice play design. You're going to watch John Jerry and J.D. Walton are both going to get out on the screen. They make sure they block up in front. See J.D. Walton, number 1. John Jerry with another big block and a huge conversion on 3rd down. Offensive linemen are athletes too.
You better believe that. You better believe that.
What is it? Q9.
On the sideline, stepping out of bounds is Preston Parker. We talked about a lot today. The 2 rookies for the Giants. Odell Beckham Jr., 130 receiving yards, and the best career day for Andre Williams, his first 100-yard rushing game as a rookie. And look at that, you got to go all the way back to 1980. The last Giant rookie duo over 100 yards rushing and 100 yards receiving in the same game. Wow.
Very impressive what Andre Williams has been doing today. Earlier in the season, like we've talked about, Jennings was kind of the back that set up Andre Williams. But he's playing very tough, very smart football today.
Incomplete on second down. It'll bring up third down for the Giants. Third down and 6. And Williams off to the sideline. Jennings comes back in.
Jennings is a back that is very smart in pass protection, picking up blitzes. So I'm sure that's why they just brought him in, to make sure if the Tennessee Titans do decide to dial up a blitz, he's the back that you want in there.
Manning right into the hands and out of the hands of Donnell and landing into the hands of Michael Griffin. No, they're saying it is not an interception. Ball hit the ground.
You talk about closing games. That's something you need to do to close games, is catch a football that is put right where it needs to be. Larry Donnell, I don't know if he's worried about, Griffin coming across the middle, worried about getting hit, but you need to catch that ball.
A fourth field goal try today now for Josh Brown. He made his last one, the fourth one from 52. Now trying to go 5 out of 5 on the day. This one from 37 yards out. Diassi the snapper, Weatherford the holder.
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, still fourth down.
Wow. I'm sitting here watching them line up for a field goal when they should have had a touchdown right now.
Now you're back up 5 yards. 37 becomes a 42-yard field goal try. We've already seen Tom Quinn have a shouting match, actual physical contact with his punter, Weatherford. And that one is good by Brown. 5 for 5 today is Josh Brown. Well, they call it Ryman Auditorium now. It originally opened in 1892 as the Union Gospel Tabernacle. Well, it is now for many, 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 many years known as the Grand Ole Opry House right here in Nashville. Right on the corner, 5th Avenue North. Antonio Andrews drops the ball. He'll take a knee. Well, some here in Nashville have found something to smile about. (36-7), the New York Giants lead it. We are in the fourth quarter with 11:22 to go from Nashville. Mettenberger on the day, 13 out of 21 with an interception. And that one incomplete on first down. Well, beginning today in the NFL, 4 weeks left to go. Cardinals are reeling. They've lost 2 in a row, still sit atop the West. Packers, Eagles, all at 9-3, and the Falcons right now, by virtue of a tiebreak, better than New Orleans. Now we're going to get to some of those teams. That one is down the middle of the field and caught at midfield by Nate Washington, and that's the first down by Tennessee.
Nate Washington right here in the slot. This is a player this season that is averaging 16 yards per catch. Antrell Roll thinks he's passing that one to Stevie Brown. There's some miscommunication on the back end and a breakdown. A huge play right there for Nate Washington.
Berger steps up, that one underthrown. Now, David, I want to ask you, those division leaders, and we know that the Cardinals are going to play later today And then they have to turn around working on a short week. And they will play on Thursday night after beating Kansas City at home. They go to St. Louis, but they finish the year against Seattle and San Francisco. Are they the most vulnerable of all the division leaders?
I think that they are. You know, the game that I'm continuing to think about is next week. That Eagles-Cowboys game is going to be a huge one.
Sacked, Mettenberger by Devon Kennard. And once more, Mettenberger is in pain. He's been in pain all day today after getting injured with that right throwing shoulder on a hit by J.J. Watt last Sunday, knocking him out of the game in the third quarter. And Jake Locker is already finding his helmet after this.
Kennard comes right off of the edge, completely unblocked. Takes another big hit, and he has been all day.
Just 2 plays before that, the arm already hurting. On his way back to the locker room is Zach Mettenberger. I mentioned he had to leave the game last week in the third quarter after he was hit by J.J. Watt. Some felt that was a little too much extra on that hit by Watt a week ago, landing on top of Mettenberger. 2 plays before that last sack. Here's what happened.
Now, the play before that last sack, that's the one that he underthrew Delaney Walker. But you see its facial reaction, him grab his arm right away. He's feeling that shoulder, and then sure enough, the next play gets a big sack put on him, driven right into the ground on that same shoulder, and that's when he was just taken off the field and out of the game now into the locker room.
So Jake Locker, #1 draft pick back in 2007, the 8th overall pick that year out of Washington. He started 22 games over his first 4 years. I don't know how many remember the fact that in his rookie year, he was the backup to Matt Hasselbeck. So they did what a lot of people feel you should do with a young quarterback, give him a little time to watch and learn the game. Second year, he played in 11 games and got hurt. Last year, started 7 games, got hurt.
Challenging the ruling that the receiver did not make the line of the game.
Well, they're challenging that call, so we will step aside while they take a look at it. And Wisenhunt 0 for 4 on replay challenges so far this year.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is confirmed. It'll be 4th down. Tennessee will be charged with his first time out of the second half.
The review is of Derek Hagan's catch. Getting it, trying to stretch out. That elbow is down.
So rather than a first down, that's what they were hoping it would be. It's 4th down and a yard for the Titans, trailing 36-7.
False start, number 60, offense. 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
They were trying to get that one quick, come up and get that first down, but at the same time, you can't have that penalty. I mean, you want to convert, you want to go fast, that's fine. But at the same token, if you don't snap the ball in cadence, in rhythm, you're going to get a penalty.
And that was on their center.
It's on their center. Chris Spencer, who is a veteran player.
Hey, 53, Lucy!
So 4th down and 6 now for the Titans, and down goes Locker. Mike Harris coming around the corner on that blitz.
Very nice blitz design, because you're going to look at the other side. Jake Locker adjusts the protection. You hear him calling out, slides everything left. They shoot it from the other side. Very nice play design there by Perry Fuel.
Harris is picked up by the Giants after he was signed to the Lions practice squad. They're going for the gusto to Beckham. he couldn't get it.
Another play-action rollout by Eli Manning. Puts the ball out there. That's a ball that Odell Beckham Jr. catches 9 times out of 10. So I know everybody wants to see those one-handers in the back of the end zone. That's one you have to catch and show that you do more than just that.
What I did, what I said.
Andre Williams for a couple of yards. What a day it has been for the rookie out of Boston College. 4th-round draft pick. Grew up in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Of course, it's been a great day for a lot of Giants here today when you're up 36-7. Third down and 8. The Giants will punt.
By the time that blitz got there, Titans were able to have Eli Manning throw that ball quicker than he wanted to get rid of it. Miscommunication between both of them. But I think if Odell Beckham Jr. would have caught that football, I know he's a guy that gets yards after a catch, but he still was 2 yards short of sticks.
Fair catch inside the 5-yard line by McCluskey. We're going to get to some of the wild card teams in a moment, but you look at this group right now. Indianapolis and Cincinnati are both trailing in their game. Then look at the rest and all the teams fighting it out in the hunt and the wild card.
That is unbelievable to see that many teams at 7-5 in the hunt, all in the AFC. That division between the Steelers, the Ravens, the Browns, that division has just been absolutely phenomenal this year. And you talk about blooding each other up to get in the playoffs.
Yep.
That's been the division that's been the best at it.
Walker on first down to Washington. That'll be a gain of 12. You know, out of 16 teams in the AFC, 11 of the 16 have 7 or more wins. Now, obviously, with so many division games in both the NFC and the AFC down the stretch, you have a hard time getting the majority of those teams getting to 9 or 10 wins. That one dumped off, and that'll be a first down reception made by Hagan. And we check in with Joel Platt back in Los Angeles.
Tom, coming up next, it's Mark Sanchez, LaShawn McCoy, and the Philadelphia Eagles welcoming in the defending Super Bowl champs and Russell Wilson for a showdown in the NFC. It's America's Game of the Week next on Fox. Tom and David.
Who you like in that game, David?
Great question. Hold on, I want to see this run here. Oh, I thought that we were going to see a big pull there. See if we're going to break when he was an arm tackle away.
But the defending Super Bowl champion Seahawks, who have had their ups and downs this year. I mean, not to say they cruised last year, but they clearly were the best team, a dominant team all year long. And now they go to Philadelphia. Seahawks are just trying to get into the playoffs. They're not even thinking about a Super Bowl.
Well, they most certainly are. Go back to your question in that game. I just have really liked the way that the Eagles have played at home. So I think I'm going to pick the Philadelphia Eagles in that matchup tonight. I think they do a nice job against a scrambling quarterback of, have somebody spying, keep that contained. Connor Barwin's been phenomenal at it this year. So I think this is a game that I think the Philadelphia Eagles will show that they're a proven, legit football team.
And that would really put the defending Super Bowl champions in a tough spot going into the final 3 weeks, if indeed that holds true. Seattle at 8-4. With 3 games, all divisional games after today. 49ers at home at Arizona. And they wrap up the year at home against St. Louis. They get on a wide receiver screen, drop for a 2-yard loss. It'll bring up 2nd down.
Nice blitz by Jameel McClain. He's able to get that pressure in there quick release, and once again, nice tackle by Mike Harris.
Hey, Rocket 53. Rocket 53. Yeah, 53. Blue 80. Booty hut.
Intercepted by Quentin Dix.
Nice play by the veteran Antrell Roll there, sitting back, sees that Delaney Walker is running right down that seam, makes a break on that ball, and that is your typical tip drill. Here's Antrell Roll, eyes through, keeps his eyes through, sees that blocker is targeted, homed in on Delaney Walker. Big play and big turnover. It's definitely something for Perry Fuel to clap about right there.
Well, we mentioned the last couple of weeks, all of a sudden that pass rush has come alive, and boy, it's incredible when you get pressure on the quarterback. How many good things more than not are going to happen for your team on defense. Williams adding to his rushing total. Stiff-arming his way out to the 37-yard line. Hope they run him out of bounds to the 35. We're talking about Williams and how he did not have a single reception in 4 years at Boston College. And he knew that if he wants to be a part of this offense or be a part of any offense in the NFL, if you want to give yourself a chance to play on all 3 downs, you got to catch a football. So he spent all of the offseason catching racket balls, catching tennis balls. A couple of receptions today, giving him 13 on the year.
Not only do you have to catch the football, but your understanding and knowledge of defensive blitzes and diagnosing things and picking it up. Because I will tell you this, you could be the best running back in the NFL, but if you can't block, if you can't go in there, you're not going to be out on the football field because you can get somebody else hurt.
Winding down on the 4-minute mark here in Nashville, and a 3rd down. They're just going to turn and hand it off. And that is Darkwood. He spins his way maybe back to the line of scrimmage, and the Giants will punt it. A lot of fans and those of us in the media, we get wrapped up in paying attention to this time of year about, all right, well, if the season ended today, where would every team be picking in an upcoming NFL draft? It's made a much bigger deal when you're closer to being number 1 or 2 than it is number 31 or 32. Fair catch called for by McCluster at the 23-yard line. And if we had to pull up the draft order going into play today, Tennessee number 4, Jets number 5, Giants number 7. We were told, though, by Mike Martz, whom you've gotten to know very well, and our producer, Bob Stenner, has gotten to know very well, that all his years in football, he said never one time, not one time, did he ever hear from another coach, from a member of the front office, general manager, owner, no matter how bad your year was going, not one time was that topic ever brought up.
It was my 11 years of playing for the New York Giants. That was never talked about. You're competing for today. Yeah, you're fighting for the future, but everything is about the now and the present. And like we stated in the opening, you know, not only as players, but as coaches too, you're working for your job. You're fighting for your job. And I know as a player, you're thinking about those things because these are the people that they're thinking to replace you as a player. These are the guys that think that they may bring in to take your job. So you better produce on the football field and show that you're a worthy guy that deserves to be out there.
2nd down and 8, and Locker on in relief of the injured Mettenberger. Completed pass to Durham. Locker scrambling around trying to get to the 1st down, and he does. Slides his way, and it took a hit from behind by Shockey Brown that'll more than likely tack on 15 more yards.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 39, defense, hitting the quarterback that slid to the ground, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
Not surprised about that penalty being thrown at all. He's declaring and showing that he is going down. Shockey Brown clearly sees that his knee's going down, that he's sliding. That's when you just run by and you tap him. That's it. No point to give up yards in a game like this when things are going so well.
2:09 to go. Walker 8 out of 9, 73 yards and a interception. And now he'll run again, and again will run for a 1st down, and will dive forward to the 25-yard line, which brings us to the 2-minute warning. Giants trying to get their first win since October the 5th. Battling Nate Diaz and many more. 2-night UFC event beginning Friday, the Ultimate Fighter. That'll be on Fox Sports 1, the finale there. Saturday, UFC Fight Night on Fox. And we'll drop it off to Leon Washington, former All-Pro New York Jet, down to the 18-yard line.
Anytime I think of Leon Washington, I remember him returning kicks for the Seahawks. Before his injuries, he was a complete game breaker.
Game produced today by Mark Teitelman, directed by Greg Scopatoni. Our technical producer, Bob Muller. Our technical director, Dane Crawford. Our associate director is Yvonne Wagner. His rocker is socked by Paul. Paul, his 3rd sack of the game. Let's get an update on Zach Mettenberger from Laura Oakman.
Because I know the last time we saw him, he was walking into the locker room, and we all saw the injury. But officially, we do want to say that the Titans said what's kept him in the locker room, not on the field, is a shoulder injury, re-injuring that shoulder that kept him in and out of practice this weekend. You guys have been talking all game about what drives guys for games that don't mean anything. Talking to Zach this week, these 4 games meant a lot to him. He's not just working on wins and losses. It's the cadence. It's the huddle presence. It's his reads. It's his checkdowns, everything. So he wanted to be out here every minute of these remaining games.
I'd like to thank our broadcast associate Jordan Wolf today. Also like to thank spotter Scott Snyder, our entire stats crew, Tom Barbary up here in the booth, Eric Norton, Mike Elbridge. We certainly miss Bob Stenner. We're hoping that he will be joining us next Sunday in Cleveland, Ohio. That could be a huge game. And another sack. Giants had 7 of them last week, and that is number 8 today. And the big fella, Jonathan Hankins out of Ohio State, getting the sack.
They're going to run an ET. They're going to start off, veer that defensive end inside, Jason Pierre-Paul. He's able to get penetration to pick both the guard and the tackle on the left side. Hankins is coming around, comes up with a big sack, but that's the position that this Titans offense has put themselves in. And here in this 4th quarter, you know that they're only passing the football. Defensive lines and defenses can just dial up all different types of stunts and games up front.
Well, Ryan Nassib going to come on and just take a knee for the final minute of this game. This has been quite a turnaround from the devastating loss a week ago when they blew the 21-3 halftime lead against Jacksonville. And at least for a week, maybe a little respite for Tom Coughlin. And all the talk about whether or not he is going to be back for another year as Giants head coach. What a great career he has had. If it's the last time, well, actually, you and I are going to see him one more time in a couple of weeks in St. Louis. 7 sacks last week, 8 of them this week. First time since 1964 the Giants have had 7 or more here in back-to-back games. So that'll wrap it up. Giants winners today for the first time since October the 5th. Let's send it to Kurt Menefee back in Los Angeles. State Farm Game Break Show.